two very deserving inductees today, Tom Rice and Dick the Fox Mobley. Two surfers that are a few years older than me, and I looked up to them when I was growing up right here on the sands of Hermosa Beach. Roger Bacon, who was the inspiration for this 6-7 years ago, has a few words to say. Roger?
Ladies and gentlemen, it's a pleasure to be here today. First of all, I would like to say this. We lost a wonderful surfer, a wonderful photographer. Leroy Granis, 1917-2011, passed away. I'd like to hold a 3 or 4 minute or 2 minute silence for a prayer for Leroy Granis, one of the finest surfers and photographers that has ever been in the industry. Thank you. Okay. Once a clown, always a clown. Alias, get off your couch. If you snooze, you lose. A memorial for John Granis. We should really think about it because he was one of the ones that first started the surfing with film. And Corona Del Mar was the first place a surfing school or surfing club started. Then it went to Palos Verdes. Then it came down to Hermosa Beach and then Manhattan Beach. And I still contend that we are the surfing capital of the world. It isn't Huntington Beach. It's here in Hermosa Beach. I want to thank John Josephs for giving me the opportunity. I'm glad to see we're not taking politics in the Surfers Walk of Fame because the freedom of surfing is God-given. And so is this committee.
Thank you, Roger. We would like to bring up Bob Bacon to introduce Tom Rice. Bob, come on up, please. Bob is a charter pioneer member of the Surfers Walk of Fame.
Tommy and I grew up in Manhattan Beach together. My brother, Ward Baker, and Louis Weaver, Bob Heathcote. We had what we called the 31st Street Gang. And we all surfed, and everybody had surf mats at the time. Nobody had boards. And I was one of the first guys to get a surfboard, a kook box, made by Jack Crosshire. I don't think many people remember Jack Crosshire and Bob Wiley. He was a Hawaiian surfer, one of the original members of the Manhattan Surf Club. Anyhow, we grew up there, and we had a pavilion down in Manhattan Beach on Marine, and that's where the junior lifeguard program started. I know Paul's mouth is dropping, but it was Max Drownberger that started the junior lifeguard program, and Jim Nevis came in and took it over. Remember, Tommy? We were members of the junior lifeguard down there. You and Ward and I and Louie and Bob Heathcote. And Tommy and I went all through grammar school. And then we moved down here to Manhattan Pier and surfed there. And then we came to Hermosa, where Velzy and Tommy used to sleep under the pier and have a good time. Tommy had a little problem in his family. His younger brother died, and it really threw him for a loop. But what we did down here, we had the char broiler was sitting right here next to the pier. Then we had Curry's, ice cream, and they used to have jukeboxes here. And Tommy would get 200 or 300 people out, and he started the Dirty Boogie on the Strand. And I don't think many people remember it, but some of the old timers do. Nobody could do the Dirty Boogie like Tommy. And he was loose as a goose, and he was the same way in the water. And Ward and I and Louie and Heathcote, we'd go on these trips, and Tommy would always end up by doing the Dirty Boogie and drawing all the women. But I think that Tommy really deserves this because he was a beach rat like all of us, and when we first started surfing, everybody looked at us and they'd say, "Oh God, those bums." We'd go to high school, have our surfboards in the car, and Dr. Brown used to come and write tickets, and we'd all sit in the car and smoke and have a good time and go to the cove. I'd like to introduce my dear friend, guy I grew up with, went to grammar school with, and high school, Tommy Rice.
Thank you, Bob. Presenting Tommy with Black will be mayor of Hermosa Beach. Pete Tucker, Pete, take it away.
Tom Rice is a devoted waterman and pioneer surfer who contributed many years of service to the South Bay community. He began surfing in the late 1930s on longboards that weighed over 100 pounds. Later, he excelled on lighter boards with a style all his own. Tom was a charter member of the Hermosa Beach, San Onofre, and Manhattan Beach surf clubs. He served as a Los Angeles County lifeguard for 25 years, a Manhattan firefighter for 16 years, and served 2 years in the U.S. Navy, including the invasion of Okinawa. Tom, a dedicated family man, continues to maintain a deep respect and admiration for the ocean. It's my pleasure, Tom, to present you with this inductee plaque.
Still do the dirty boogie. I can't do it.
Oh my gosh.
For those of you who are wondering, he's 85 years old, folks.
The minute we saw the beach, my little brother and I, that became our playground. That ocean was the playground. We didn't care about swings, slides, and teeter-totters and any of that jazz. We just wanted to get down on that beach and get in that water. The first board I ever really tried to slide on, there weren't any boogie boards yet, was an old ironing board. An old wooden ironing board. Really slide that, you know. We did dumb things like take a metal roller skate apart and nail it to a 2x4, shoot the hill, skin our knees. I remember two old men used to come down to about 14th Street in Manhattan in the 30s, and they tossed a tie tin back and forth. That was the first frisbee. No one had made plenty. Anyway, surfing just became such a way of life. It ruined a lot of my folks' hopes for me. We all had these nicknames. Belzy was the Hawk. And one of the reasons he was a hawk is he could spot a dime in the sand a block away. I was at a party one time, and some girl was there, said, I know how to tell people's last names. And she's going around, she goes to me, says, your last name is Trash. Yeah. And I says, my God, how did you do that? From then on, I was Tom Trash. I started surfing, I started hanging around Hermosa when the little beach hamburger place was here. June Miller Bass's wife owned it. Zuka's nightclub was there. Zuka's had big bands playing it, and we'd stand around at night and listen to that wonderful music come out the door. We'd surf all day. I came down here to go surfing one day, and I didn't go home for a month. Belzy and I would sleep under the old lifeguard door and push the sand up and, let the wind off of us, or under the pier. We get up till we had a quarter. We go to Lighthouse and get a stack of cakes and a cup of coffee for 25 cents, and then we'd surf all day. And that's when I had my redwood. The redwood I had, Ward Baker made it. When he made himself a new board and sold me my redwood for $10. First board I had was a kook box made by Al Holland. Kook box is a paddle board without a fishtail. And but then that redwood, 110 pounds. I used to carry, I was 170 pounds, and I carried that thing up down the Cove Road. I don't know how I did that. I surfed that for a long time, and Well, that business about me and Velzy sleeping on their thing, I finally went home and I went back to school, and I quit school. I had to go in the Navy when I was, before I turned 18, and they drafted you right out of high school to World War II. So I went in the Navy just before I turned 18. But when I came back after I got out of the service, I was sitting home one day, and my mother says, you remember when you and Dale used to sleep underneath that lifeguard boat? I said, how'd you know about that? She said, I knew where you guys were. I used to come down at night and check on you and make sure you were. So that was that young life, And then when I got on the road with the surfboard, it opened up a whole thing, like Malibu and San Onofre my favorite place to ride on a large wave, the biggest waves I ever rode, were at Windansea in La Jolla. I rode some pretty big waves there. I broke that redwood in half there. I hit a rock, and that was the end of that board. My next board was a Bob Simmons board, and Bob, bless his soul, died surfing at Windansea. He went out by himself one day, and all they found was his board and his body a few days later. So that's a sad story. Grannis was a sad story. His little brother, Don Grannis, died tragically in Mexico. His camper gas thing blew up, and burned him. Killed him, So, I don't know, that's all, when these guys just go, I'm so lucky I'm coming up on 85, and I can swim. I swim 500 yards almost every day in the pool in the complex I live in. I don't break any records, but I swim 500 yards. And I guess I'm a little long-winded, but so I'm going to get off the mic here, and there's my friend Bruce Myers back there. Yeah, Myers-Manx.
Tommy, this is original plaque of the 2003 Surfers Walk of Fame Pioneer members. Bob Bacon and Roger Bacon paid for this, and we want you to have it because this is the original one.
Thank you very much. That's very nice. Very nice. One of the things that happened on this beach, we didn't look at girls unless there was no surf. One of the first things I learned is you don't hunt grunion, you hunt grunion hunters.
Oh my God.
One day at the Manhattan Pier, I met this young girl. She was just 17, beautiful, married. No, she wasn't married then, we married. Now we've had, we've been married 50-something years. I have 6 children, 5 daughters and a boy. I have 12 grandkids and 2 great-grandkids. They're all here. Christine's my firstborn granddaughter. I got a granddaughter over here named Madison, who's an actress. I got very lucky in this beautiful girl I married. I'm standing here and I'm fine, but she went through 6 kids, and that tears the hell out of a woman. Anyway, I'm going to end this, and it's Mr. Mobley's turn to get up here and tell his story. So, I gotta go.
Thank you, Tom. Tom Rice, everybody. Next inductee we have is going to be introduced by a true legend of the South Bay. One of the reasons why Hermosa is the original surf city is because of Bing Copeland. Bing, come on up, please.
Thank you, John. Wow, what a group. It's really exciting to finally be here. I was inducted in 2003, and unfortunately I was out of the country, so I wasn't able to attend, and I apologize for that. I'm truly honored to be here. But I'm not here to talk about me, I'm here to talk about Richard Fox Mobley. For the last 20 years, he likes to go by Richard, but prior to that, we all knew him as Dick. So sometimes I'll say Dick, and sometimes I'll say Richard. But Dick, when he was 11 years old, he learned to surf at 22nd Street. We all surfed 22nd Street. I think we surfed there because Leroy Granis lived right up the street, and he would take pictures every morning, so we all wanted our photos. And nobody had digital cameras in those days. In fact, Dick, that would have been, if my math is right, 1952, when he started surfing, and it would have been 5 or 6 years before foam came in for surfboards, and so he would have started on a balsa board, probably 30 pounds, not 100 pounds like Tom Rice, but 30 plus pounds for an 11-year-old boy, and you, in those days you learned to swim pretty quick because we didn't have leashes. And this was also several years before wetsuits became popular for surfing, so you had to be pretty dedicated to be a surfer under those conditions. But Dick did well. He was one of the youngest guys at 22nd. There was the older crowd, the Bergstroms and McFarlands and Stu Linder and those guys, and I was kind of in the middle. But later on, when Dick was, that was when he was 11, when he was around 13 years old, his mother would drive him up to Venice, to Velzy and Jacob Surf Shop, where he sanded the balsa boards prior to them being glassed, and he did that for a while. I sort of lost track of him when I went to Hawaii for 2 years in the Coast Guard and then another year sailing in the Pacific, but I know during that period, would have been the mid-50s, when he got his driver's license, he ended up going to San Diego. He ended up shaping for several board builders down there. He joined the Wind and Sea Surf Club, and I think there's probably some Wind and Sea members here to help him celebrate later. And I was lucky enough in I guess it was around 1961, to have Dick come to work with me in my shop, and we shaped side by side, although I have to admit he probably shaped more than I did because I was busy trying to learn how to be a businessman. And questionable, but but Dick really helped me a lot. During that period, most of the boards that came out of my factory were shaped by Dick, and I thank you, Dick, for that. It was an honor to have you work with me. While he was shaping for me in the summers, in the wintertime, he started a little ski and surf swap on Artesia and Aviation. That's it. I know the corner well.
Used to be Pure Avenue.
Yeah. So that went on for a while, and he went through some trials and tribulations for that shop, but he did end up opening probably one of the finest ski shops in the South Bay, and ran it for 40 years. He's now retired and spends his time with his wonderful wife Vicki Mobley, and they share their time between Mammoth and King Harbor, where Dick has his beloved sailboat. Anyway, it's really been an honor for me to be asked to speak for Dick, and I would like to have you come up now, Dick.
Richard, it's my pleasure to present you with this inductee plaque, and it reads the following. A third-generation Hermosa native, Richard Fox Mobley began surfing as a youngster and shaped his first surfboard at age 13. Richard shaped boards for many of the top manufacturers for over 17 years, which led him to the design of his own Mobley boards. He owned and operated a ski surf shop in Manhattan Beach for 40 years, affording him the opportunity to hire, train, and instill a positive work ethic in many South Bay teens. Richard is an expert surfer, a sailor. I know he's a member of the King Harbor Yacht Club, where I'm also a member, a skier, a fly fisherman. He's best known for his kind, helpful, caring ways, and overall love of life and the great outdoors. It's my honor, Richard, to present you with this inductee plaque.
It's so nice to see so many of my friends. I want to thank you all. And I have such a wonderful wife. I love her very much. My whole thing in life has always been, how many colors can you jam in that prism? Do everything you can in life, every minute. And anyway, thank you very much.
The Surfers Walk of Fame 2003, Doc Ball, Hop Schwartz, Leroy Granis, Jim Bailey, Big Edgards, Ed Edgards, Bob Bacon, Ward Baker, Mary Kerwin-Reel, Fred Kerwin, John Kerwin, Ted Kerwin, Jim Kerwin, Al Holland, Paul Matthews, and Cliff Tucker, inducted March 2003. I want you to have this because it gives you a good idea of what happened before you got yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Roger. And congratulations, Richard. We're going to honor our high school surfing athlete of the year. This is the 16th year of our high school surf league. We have 12 local high schools, all varsity surf teams with PE credit. It's just been a great institution and has really helped legitimize the sport here in the South Bay. Right here we have Maddie Hawks. Last year she was our women's longboard champion out of 14 high schools. We started with about 450 surfers, and she was our women's longboard champion last year. This year, about an hour ago, she won our women's shortboard division her senior year. So our female surfing athlete of the year in the high school is Maddie Hawks from Maricosta High School. Maddie. This redhead here, Connor Beatty from Redondo High School. This is really a unique thing to do. Dayton Silva did it last year, but Connor made the finals in all three divisions today. He probably surfed, 9 heats in about 3 hours. He made the finals in bodyboard, he made the finals in longboard, and he won our shortboard division title. So he's not only our male shortboard surfer of the year, he's also our all-around surfer of the year, which is quite an honor. Connor Beatty's a senior at Redondo. He's got a little brother that I think might outdo his records by the time he's a senior. But Connor right now is the king of the Connor family. Connor, congratulations. I'm going to miss both of you. We also have a couple of Vietnam heroes that are on the Walk of Fame. I'm proud to announce that we have Daryl Dickey and Pef Ike were both chopper pilots in Vietnam in some very hairy situations. They're both here today. We want to thank them for their military service. And, I'm not sure on the pioneers who was in Korea and who was in World War II, but I'm sure there's some of them here, and again, we want to thank them. And with that, I want to say thank you all for coming today. This wraps our program up, and I want to congratulate Tom and Richard for their induction today. Thank you so much.